His favorite class was an independent study in philosophy with Narda Murphy. He attended Michigan State University for his undergraduate degree and then earned his PhD from Yale University. Since then, he's been an academic physicist, a startup founder, and is now one of the most active venture capital investors in hard tech. He recently spent 2 years sailing across the South Pacific with his indefatigable wife and their 2 sets of twins. Congratulations, Mike. I'm honored to present you with this award and recognize you for the admirable way you distinguish yourself as alumni.
Thank you for this incredible award. I'm just going to set up. Okay. Well, it is an absolute honor to be here. And I thank the school, I thank the teachers, I want to thank everybody, the peers and parents that I have in the audience for helping get to this position. But I say there are so many valid candidates for this award in the audience. I don't have to look any farther than my older sister, who was a slightly superior student to me in school and has touched thousands of lives as an educator herself. So I stand humbled and honored to be here on behalf of all the other people that could be up here. It is really fun to be around commencements. I was only able to drag one of my 4 kids with me, unfortunately, but my daughter Coral, who's not in the audience, who give a little wave Coral, she said, "This is really fun to be around graduation. I can't wait until I graduate." And then she got sad and she said, "Oh, but it'll be sad because you'll be almost dead." It's true. I am 50 and I graduated a while ago. And it does feel like a while ago, right? I've lived a lot of life since then. I won't tell you all about it. But I remember some things about when I was in your shoes. When you leave here, you will take with you so many things that this school and this community has given you into the world, right? You've gotten a world-class education. It sounds like it's absolutely only improved since I went through it, and that time it was a very high bar. You'll have the enduring support of your friends, your peers, their parents, teachers and staff and coaches that will always be there for you when you need it. You will take into the world a firm sense of morality of what is right and wrong. I took all of that with me in the world when I left Williamston. And something else. My mom probably knows. I took this book from the library, checked out, and have never returned. It is now 32 years overdue. Maybe 33 right now. It played an important role in my life. I had a lot of pivotal experiences growing up here from our neighbor, Mrs. Coleman, who taught 2nd grade and could tell I was learning words, so she gave me calligraphy lessons on the side, which is what I did. Mrs. Crittenden gave me a shadow curriculum in math and science, which was incredible. Somebody sent a computer home at some point, and I learned to program. But in high school, it was an independent study with Mrs. Murphy, who I think went on to become an administrator and a pivotal role in this district. It had a really big role in my life, and it's hard to choose just one, but it was a senior independent study. There were 4 people in it, and it was the first time in my life that teachers had treated me like a peer, and it felt really good. We got to do what we wanted. We got to choose our own curriculum. She suggested this book. That's what we did. We read it. It was an incredible time. And this book opened my eyes to a lot of things. It opened my eyes to different ways of living, new experiences, and what lay beyond the hallways of Williamston. It is 32 years overdue, and for the first 5 to 10 years, my mom reminded me of that nearly every week. The school would call her and they'd say, "Hey, can you bring that book back? I wasn't supposed to graduate, somehow I did." And it would sit there on the shelf. Eventually, my mom stopped asking, and I think she accepted that it meant something else to me that I had trouble putting in words. And for me, I was very excited to see the world beyond Williamston. I worked really hard for about 15 years to put this small town, which I love so dearly, in the rearview mirror, and now it's all I can do to try to recreate the same experience for my own children. And so I think when I saw this book on the shelf, it symbolized for me where I was from, what my identity was, the fact that people believed in me. Excuse me. And how lucky I was to grow up here in this school. So I have been really fortunate. My life has turned out in ways that I never ever could have expected. I became a physicist. I worked at the Pinnacle at MIT. I worked at CERN for the turnout of the Large Hadron Collider. And then I did other things too. I decided to throw all security to the wind start a software company that ended up going pretty well. And then I threw all of that security and started a venture capital firm. At every one of these stages, my wife did not get it and could not quite understand how we could leave the security of the road mill to try for something different and to take that risk. And that is my number one thing that I want you to remember is I think my life could have been even better if I would have been more willing to take risks. And it doesn't mean you have to be reckless. But opportunity comes more than once in a lifetime, but you do need to be ready for that. So you are emerging into a very uncertain world. My world was far more certain than what you're going into. I am one of the last generations that remembers the world before the internet. My senior year of high school, Beth McIntosh was the only person that had an email address. Now Beth Eiler. Everything changed really quickly. So the question I'm sure you're asking yourself is, what is going to happen with AI? This is a once in humanity moment, and to be honest, I'm at the forefront, but I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think anybody can tell you with great confidence what will. But will AI take all of the jobs? I think probably not. I think past history is probably a good lesson. I would love to talk about this over many beverages later on, but I think that we're probably going to be okay. I think it has absolutely already changed what we do, how we do it. The net impact is I seem to be working more, and that seems to be the case with everybody else I know, not less. But how do you prepare for that? Well, I will say, I think about this and talk about it all the time with my wife and my peers. And the advice that we are giving our kids is to be human. To be autonomous, right? And to think for yourself. It's okay to let other things do your math sometimes, right? As a professional, it's okay to let other things write your email sometimes. But I think it's very important that you keep a guiding light about what it means to be human and not an algorithm. I think it's time for us to bask in our biochemistry. And as I learned in 2008, when I had a very rough patch in my life, and there were people in this audience that took me back and literally put back the broken pieces of my shattered soul and sent me back in the world. It's a little humbling when you're 33 and your mom says, you can always move home and live with me, right? But I got through it, right? So I think my one prediction is I think as we move forward into a world that is dominated by algorithms and smart machines and it may even be evolution of new species, we don't know. It's incredibly exciting. It's uncertain. But I think there will be lots of opportunity for all of you if you can find the right way to make it through. But I do think the most treasured resource will be human-to-human interactions and connections in the real world. And I think that for you professionally, more so than ever, your success will probably be defined by the very things that you cannot take a class for or put on a resume. So look around you with your peers, look around you with the humans that invest in your lives and do the same. To close, I'll just say that I think Williamston has only improved since I left. I'm amazed at the scholastic nature of the school, the number of graduates, where people are going, the fact that people are busing their kids here. It's incredible. But I think it hasn't lost its charm, and I think that you are incredibly lucky to grow up in a place and to get a sense of belonging. That sense of belonging, identity, and acceptance is so desperately missing for so many humans on the planet right now. And you have that. And that is going to be the undeniable kernel of strength that you take with you into the world no matter what may happen. So I consider myself lucky to have that. I consider you lucky to have that. And I just want to thank